Okay, great.
August 15th, Toastmasters meeting 2024.
Thank you for being here. All right, good morning. Well, actually, afternoon now, everyone. Welcome to River City Toastmasters. It's a full house today, and it is awesome to see this. Usually, if there's a good loyal following of about 8 or 10 of us in the room, and then sometimes Peggy on screen because she's relocated part of the year to Texas, so it's great to have you in-house today. And then we have some great visitors here today. And Dee on the line. Dee is from our area. She's our area director. And towards the end of the meeting, we'll reserve some time for you, Dee, to share any comments or feedback. I'm looking at the laptop, Dee, so I don't know if I'm actually looking at you in real life, so it's kind of strange with this hybrid situation. But just know I am looking at you, and thank you for being part of this and agreeing to sit in on our meeting. We look forward to seeing you in person one day. And then Susan as some of you know, she works at WSKG now, and at WSKG has been hosting us for quite a while. Very gracious for your support and providing such a wonderful meeting space with great technology. So Susan, would you introduce your coworkers to the group, please?
Well, thank you. What I'll let them do is introduce themselves. What I say is, this is something that I was approached by WSKG to have these wonderful individuals join us for a couple of months. And they are masters of their craft, and that is speaking. And it came to me when I was thinking that we stand up here and we can move our hands, we can do all this kind of stuff. It's a real skill to get somebody to engage with you when you're just listening. It's easy to wander off. They keep you engaged, listening to their programs, listening to their news, their music, their evaluations of things. And like all good masters, they want to fine-tune their skills. So they asked if they could join us for a little bit. They're going to be doing a reading of a couple little snippets today. They're looking for evaluation of their voice, anything that can help them improve their craft. So, welcome. And if you could just list your names.
I'm Amelia. I'm the host of All Things Considered.
I'm Brent. I'm the host of Morning Edition.
I'm Bill Snyder. I'm the classical music guy, and I'm not used to being in a room with windows.
So welcome. And I see we have two people that popped in the back of the room. I met them as they snuck in the back door of WSKG last month, not knowing the meeting was canceled. So if you could introduce yourselves.
Hello everybody, my name is Patty Davidson. I am a member of Morning Nights in Edwell, and I work at the university.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Katie Perry. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the Deputy Title IX Coordinator at Binghamton University. I'm just visiting today.
Welcome. Thank you. And you came in the front door this time, right?
Hello. My name is Matthew. I'm also a Morning Night Toastmaster as well. I was a Sergeant of Arms last term, and I'm the Regional Manager for Planet Fitness. Oversee 6 locations. Just visiting.
I got my first red mark for not introducing you, huh?
It's okay.
I saw the Planet Fitness, I didn't know.
Thank you. And Dee, would you like to introduce yourself briefly as well?
Sure thing. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Demetria Cooper. You all can call me Dee for simplicity. I have been with Toastmasters officially for almost a year now, but I got introduced to Toastmasters back in 2017 when I was getting ready to retire from 20 years in the military. I am currently a club secretary for Oneonta Toastmasters, as well as a club sponsor for the Albany VA Medical Center, where we are starting a Toastmasters club there as well. So I'm really excited to continue just learning more about Toastmasters and seeing all the great things people do that's right in my wheelhouse of empowering, learning. I'm a lifelong learner, and just being amongst a lot of different professionals from different walks of life, sharing what gifts you have to make yourselves better and to make each other better. So I'm glad to be here.
Great, so I realized I didn't introduce myself. I'm Jeremy Vitale. I'm the newly elected club president here. Today I'll be filling two roles, the president intro remarks here. I'll wrap up the meeting, but I'll also be serving as the Toastmaster. And the Toastmaster, essentially, for those of you who aren't part of the program, kind of guides the meeting, makes sure we stick on task. There is an agenda, so, okay, great, you guys got it. So we will try to adhere to the times that we have established on here. I do have a few quick housekeeping notes before we move on to the fun agenda that we have planned for you today. So first of all, we thank you to the new leadership team, the people that helped to transition us into our new roles. We have a great new sign up for club roles. Thank you for putting that together, Catherine, and assisting with that, Larissa. I think it went pretty smoothly. We got the agenda put out with Peggy's help in the transition, turning that over. Of course, as always, thank you to WSKG for the technology support and getting us up and running. We have dues coming up. So those of you who are members, the portal's now live, so you can go through Toastmasters International and pay your dues online. Or Ben and I can take a check and can deposit it and up-channel that to Toastmasters, whatever you prefer, but super easy process to do online yourselves if you so choose. An exciting development, and I pushed an email out. We've been asked to deliver Speechcraft to two local organizations. The American Red Cross came to us and said, hey, we're looking to pay people to teach us about public speaking. Is that something you guys can help us with? So we said, yes, there's this thing called Speechcraft, and it's a Toastmasters organization, and there's a whole agenda. So I'll be leading that effort and looking for one volunteer, if possible, to join me in that. It's not necessary. But we're also doing another one, a Speechcraft program for an organization called Stand With Me. They provide service animals to disabled veterans, and it seems like a really great organization. We're trying to work out the time on that one, but as far as the Red Cross one goes, we have a time commitment for that. So more to come on the Stand With Me organization, but I'm excited about both of those opportunities to get our club out there in the community and deliver some essential public speaking skills to local organizations that do really good work. And then one other exciting thing that we're working on is Catherine connected with some people within District 65 that we belong, the district that we belong to, about a club mentorship program. So we'll be getting some other Toastmasters that help us with our club and improve upon what we've already built. And hopefully we'll be seeing them either virtually or in person, but they'll be giving us feedback on how we deliver the meeting and some helpful tips and pointers for club growth and things like that. So I think I've getting pretty close to my time allotment here. So we'll transition now into the actual meeting part. We have a speaker today. We always try to have two speakers, but at a minimum one. And Catherine has stepped up to be a speaker. Catherine's a relatively newcomer to this club, so everyone's very excited to hear you speak. She excels in table topics, so I can only imagine what she has in store for us today. And then, because we only have one speaker, we'll do a little bit of a prolonged table topics session, and we'll explain what table topics is when we get to that part of the meeting. So without further ado,
We maybe have an ado or whatever. Can you introduce Ben?
Yeah,
was that next?
absolutely.
Okay, sorry.
Yep.
I thought that was
So the gentleman standing to my right is Ben Cabot, and he will be filling a vital role in today's meeting. I will be turning the meeting over to him now. He is the general evaluator. So Ben, why don't you tell everyone a little bit more about your role and what you'll be doing. And I think you can probably come up here for camera purposes.
Whatever you would like, because
Yeah.
you're the boss.
Yeah, why don't you come up there and we'll let you explain your role and introduce your evaluation.
Okay. There was a sign-up sheet that was kind of started, so if everybody that didn't go here that's new, particularly over there, Matthew, let's over here.
No, we
Oh, you have a different one. Okay, whatever. So I just want to make sure everybody's accounted
We
for.
need to make sure we explain the role of the timer because Brad is new to that.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Left my sheet that I pulled out because I was thinking I was going to talk from, not that one, that's the other one, that's my nifty, neat Admiral story, but I already did that once. So, thank you, Mr. President. Well, your name was next to Toastmaster, but that's, you're introducing. We're going to have an evaluation team. Everybody participates that has a role. And then the challenges are the timer, which is our guest.
Brent.
Thank you. Yeah, Greg would have remembered your name, but I forgot. But thank you. Brent is going to be our timer. And typically the timer, you time all the speeches. You do evaluations and table topics to keep us within time or parameters. So whenever someone is doing an evaluation, you're timing them. Whenever someone's doing a table topic, you're timing them. And particularly with the one speech that we have, you're going to be timing that. The time informs you whether you are under, within, or over your time. And I'm not recalling the time frames.
Craig is excellent at this.
Catherine, what is your time limit that you're going to do your speech?
My intention is to have my talk go from 7 to 8 minutes. So you'll,
Oh, go ahead.
So you can do the green, when you raise up the green piece of paper there, make sure I see it.
Yeah.
When I'm at 7 minutes, and then at 7.5 minutes, do the yellow one, and then at 8 minutes, show me the red one, and that's when I get yanked.
Okay.
And then on the table
Easy.
topics,
Table topics
It's
are
1.5
1.5 to 2 minutes.
oh, I thought it was
green
1
is-
to 2 minutes.
Yeah, green is 1 minute, yellow is 1.5 minutes, red is 2 minutes.
And the end time target is 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, you got that.
Did you bring the book?
Evaluations.
Which book is that?
The book?
The hook.
The hook. No.
Oh, yeah,
Some
okay.
people are so interesting, I want to just listen and listen and listen. And Peggy, you're going to do our grammarian and word of the day?
Yep.
You can explain what that is?
Sure. So I will-
I got to get my pen to write the word of the day down.
I just got it for you.
Oh, you're going to tape it up here?
So, but for grammarian, I'll be listening to the speakers and listening how well or poorly they use grammar. So I'll report on it later, but it's not just corrections, it's also very impressive ways that you use language. And so some of the word of the day is going to be impasse. I was always impressed with how it was spelled, impasse. Impasse is a situation in which no progress is possible, especially because of a disagreement, so a deadlock. An example would be the current political impasse. So I will put this up where people can see it. Up here. Show you the same too. Am I the right person?
It's over there. There's no tape here. If I had my other briefcase, I would tape it right here. You did? Okay, right up there.
Okay.
Are we going to keep this podium up here, right? What I call it? I call it a podium, well, shame on me. If you're at trivia, anything you stand behind is called a lectern, not the podium.
Right, podium you stand on.
She will continue to correct me every time I call it podium.
Oh, look, we got, oh, shoot.
In fact,
No, nothing against Steve, but for a brief second, we had the whole room, which is what I thought we would.
well, this eyeball controls typically whoever's speaking gets up there, but,
Called owls.
yeah, whatever. Okay, so thank you for the word of the day and the explanation of your grammatarian things. Without you, we'd be at an impasse with this meeting.
Oh, I'm already going for it.
In fact, if only like 2 people showed up, we'd be at an impasse, because it wouldn't be a speech, it'd be a conversation. And we also have our past president, Joe Christopello, is going to be our counter. Joe, what is it you do?
So I'm going to listen, like Susan said. So I like this poll because it does force you to listen to everybody. I'll be looking for ahs, so, word fillers. I've been doing this a long time. One thing I noticed as I was reading the attachment Jeremy sent was, I'll also watch anyone who speaks during the meeting. I never saw that before, so I want to be watching and listening.
Well, thank you very much, Joe. Without you, we wouldn't know the ahs, and I believe it's pronounced in passe. It's made that up.
That's what counts.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
If you're going to open your mouth, make it humorous.
That's right. As you can see, we are always in for a treat when Ben has an opportunity to have a crowd.
Blah, 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 blah.
I now have the privilege of introducing our first and only speaker today, Catherine, and I have a brief introduction for her speech. She will be presenting this speech as if you are high school students. So that's the frame of reference, specifically STEM students. And here's the introduction. Impressive background, by the way, Catherine. I knew you were impressive from all the times you've joined us, but listen to this background. Catherine is a retired electrical engineer, former senior software development manager at IBM, and a huge proponent of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. STEM. I'm glad you said STEM. I see STEAM sticking around sometimes, and I think that's arts. It just doesn't register with me. But she gave the speech that she's going to deliver today as a keynote speech to a group of female high school students who are graduating from a software development program taught by female BU students. So her goal is to give this talk to more STEM students in the future and looks forward to your feedback.
I'll be here all week. Okay, don't start the timer yet, sorry. Oh, it's started?
No, I was waiting for
okay.
it.
I did have a new hip. I'm not sure if I'll be able to stand up the whole time without grimacing, so my apologies now if I end up having to move and sit down and finish my talk. But my aim will be to stand up here at the lectern. There won't be any impasses on my talk. Okay. Ready, set, go. So thank you for allowing me to be here today to share the pride that all of you and your families must feel today. I'm truly grateful. I want to start by asking each of you to close your eyes and picture your favorite dog. Maybe a puppy that's waiting at home for you, or a dog you had when you were younger, or your favorite breed. Once you have that picture in your mind, open your eyes. Over the next 7 to 8 minutes, I'm going to share my story. How I got from a place similar to where you are now to being excited and a little nervous up at this lectern today. My goal is to inspire you to be a dog person, not like the dog you just envisioned, but a deserving, open to opportunities, and grateful person. As you heard, I earned my bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from Purdue University, alma mater of several astronauts, including Neil Armstrong, the first person to walk on the moon, outstanding athletes like Miami Dolphins quarterback Bob Greasy, and food scientist and businessman Orville Redenbacher. At that time, most of Purdue's bragging rights were about famous men. And though Purdue was leading the charge in growing women in engineering, men far outnumbered women in my classes, and that was really intimidating and scary. Freshman year was tough. At times I felt like I wasn't going to make it. It was just too much. Maybe you felt like that during this program over the last 8 weeks or other times in your life. I was fortunate. I had been taught by my parents and my teachers that I deserved to have a great education and I could accomplish anything I put my mind to. Challenges were simply a way to learn and grow. I knew about Purdue's co-op program where students could alternate semesters at school with semesters working in industry. But that would mean less time with my new group of girlfriends. Freshman year was hard enough, but this opportunity seemed too good to pass up. So at 18 years old, in the summer after my freshman year, I moved to Owego for what would be my first of 5 co-op sessions with IBM. While most of my new friends were back in their hometowns working at McDonald's, I was making big bucks and getting a glimpse of what this technology field had to offer. Those years were really tough. In 4.5 years, I completed 5 co-op sessions with IBM and earned my bachelor's in electrical engineering, a degree that, like most STEM degrees, taught me how to solve problems and be innovative. It gave me the confidence that I could succeed in anything. After graduation, I only spent about 5 years doing actual engineering work. Then I used my degree and resume to open doors to a variety of interesting careers. Between that first job as a hardware designer and my last job, I've been a project manager, a software tester, a financial planner, telemarketer, which probably most of you don't like to hear, customer service rep, vice president of a land trust, OSHA education salesperson, sales engineer, new business developer, personal life coach, engineering manager, and a patent engineer. What did all these positions have in common? Other than make my parents quite nervous every time I told them I was taking a new path, they all involved learning new things, influencing others, and solving problems. What did I have to do along the way to be successful? I had to be curious. I had to never let myself get bored. Say yes to new opportunities, ask why, ask how, challenge myself, laugh at myself, that's a big one. Get scared, be comfortable not knowing, that's still a daily mantra. Expect success and be willing to fail and improve, and have faith that things always work out. I'm grateful for all of these opportunities. Because of them, I felt a sense of pride as I watched space shuttles launch. I gazed at the International Space Station flying overhead, watched Navy and Air Force jets whizzing by at air shows, swiped a credit card that likely uses the software that my team built, gotten a receipt from a printer that contains parts I sold to a manufacturer, watched a forklift truck move inventory around, or see a hybrid electric bus drive around town, and I know that I helped other engineers and software programmers design those products. I've learned and taught tools that help me navigate through life's challenges. I know I can overcome any curveballs life throws at me, including a new hip that's not working right, because I'm a professional problem solver. The choice I made to become an engineer has had a positive effect on my whole life. I see the world differently. I have a greater appreciation for how things work, and I know that failure often leads to huge success. My life has been more fascinating than I ever imagined because I was open to a world where tenacity, curiosity, and innovation are critical. Though it wasn't always easy, it isn't always easy, I'm grateful for the amazing life that engineering helped me create, and I wouldn't change it for anything. You graduates have just completed what could become a cornerstone of your life. You probably had some struggles, maybe even wondered why in the world you signed up for this program in the middle of summer. You were open to new opportunities and you were open to growth. And here you are, right where you deserve to be, your graduation. I won't promise you a career in software development or any STEM field will be stress-free or simple, but I do promise you that it can be one of the most exciting ways to live your life. So I dare each of you to ask yourself, now and all through your life, especially at Crossroads, what do I want to do to change in this world? What problems do I want to solve? Then follow your heart wherever it leads you. Take the paths that you choose, you, yourself, not your parents or your peers. Sorry, parents. If you do that, I truly believe you'll create a life filled with more joy than pain, more courage than fear, and enough confidence to overcome any obstacles with grace and pride. And remember, always be a dog person. Thank you.
Brent.
Yes.
You recorded it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Now I need meds. Oh, good.
Thank you, Catherine. Great speech. I love the dog acronym. I always love when there's actionable advice from talks, and clearly those high school students benefited from your message.
Oh, thank you.
Great stuff there. The next part of our meeting is table topics. And this is a fun yet uncomfortable part of the meeting where Susan calls on people at random and challenges them with a question, and then you impromptu speak for a minute to 2 on her topic. And she really delights in this part of the meeting. So I'll turn it over to her. We do have about 20 minutes because one speaker, so take it away, Susan.
Thank you. And keep in mind, when I'm making you uncomfortable, we're also counting the ahs, the uhs, the uhs, everything else. I enjoy table topics because it does teach us to be able to stand up and talk impromptu. It's kind of like our elevator speech. You've got 3 seconds to figure out what you're going to do. So we've got about 20 minutes, but I think at the end what we're going to do is we're going to take some time because our WSKG guest would like to do a reading of like 30 seconds or something for us to evaluate them. So let's take the first one here. Jeremy, I always like to pick on you. I just love it. Pretend you have one cheat day a month with no impact on your health or weight gain or anything else. Describe your full day of eating on this day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks.
You called on me just because I made those comments today. So what you're witnessing now is a little bit of a stall. I'm trying to run the timer out a little bit. No, I'll get into it shortly. So this is a great question, really thought-provoking and very timely. And I don't know if you knew how timely this question is. Dee, I heard you mention a military career. I myself am a reservist, so I still have physical fitness testing that I have to do annually. And I get to do my next PT test the first week of September. So for the last couple of months, it's been running, trying to adhere to a decent diet, push-ups, sit-ups, really trying to get to the fitness level I probably should have maintained all year long, but I'm condensing it into the 2 months just before the test. I don't know if that was your experience, Dee, but that's very much my approach. So with that, I've let some foods that I really enjoy go by the wayside. I haven't enjoyed as much bacon, cheeseburgers, or pizzas as I normally would. So I think the question was, what would my ideal cheat day look like? Was that
Breakfast,
it?
lunch, dinner, and snack.
Okay. So breakfast, I would have to start off with a big plate of bacon. The more the merrier. That's what I always say. Thank you. Moving on from that, and that would just be bacon, probably some coffee. Lunch, I would just roll right into the cheeseburgers. Yeah, and notice I said cheeseburgers. Yeah, so it's not going to be just one, probably 2 with a side of fries, most likely. Larissa is probably hating hearing every moment of this as a personal trainer and my gentleman from Planet Fitness. So then we'll roll into dinner, and that's where I can finally get a pizza. And a true pizza, a whole one just for myself, probably bacon on that as well, just to round out the day. With all that, I don't think there's much time for snacks because I really want to condense the eating into the major items. So that would be my cheat day and what I'm looking forward to actually living out after my PT test the first week of September. Thank you.
What's wrong with a plate of bacon?
I know.
Oh, hi, Larissa.
Yeah.
Ben, if you traveled naked 200 years in the past, how would you prove you were from the future?
If I traveled how?
Naked.
Naked.
200 years in the past, how would you prove that you're from the future? This is going to be good.
I think you've asked this question.
But not of him.
That's a cruel question.
Monica, stand up. That's a stall after.
Normally, I spontaneously open my mouth and words come out, but I am at an impasse, really. It's just, anyway, a lot of people don't like being naked, and I've been told that, somewhere in the Bible it says you're not supposed to be naked and you got to be clothed and all this. I really enjoy being naked. So 200 years in the future would not be much different. What?
Past. You got to go to the past.
Oh, past. Oh, well.
How are you going to prove that you're from the future?
For some reason.
200 years.
Yeah, the future and the past confuse me. Yeah, I'm in past. Milk it, if you got it, milk it. Anyway, so in the past, there's a lot of cowboys things. So what I would do is, I would put on an accent. I'm proving that I'm from the future, is that it? Or I'm living in the past? I get confused very easy, and I blame the brain tumor. I blame the brain tumor for much confusion. But if I was in the future, I would, in the past, I would start pulling teeth. Because in the past, there were so many people that had rotten teeth, and I would go up and look at people smiling at me, laughing at me because I'm naked. I said, whoa, you got rotten teeth. And I'd borrow a pair of pliers from the horseshoe guy, the blacksmith, and I'd go around offering to pull their teeth for free, which is unusual because usually in the cowboy days, you would have to barter. They would have to trade a pig to get a tooth pulled or something like that, chickens, anything. So anyway, I would offer to do these services for free. And then, at that time, there's so many people with rotten teeth, the word would spread. And people would offer me things like clothes, and they dress me up like a cowboy. And I would demand that the hat guy brought me this big white cowboy hat, because I love white cowboy hats. And hopefully, they would never offer to shoot me, because that'd be a dead-end passe.
I think you would probably send you back to the future.
Then the naked dentist. Shingle up.
That's an image. I'd have a tattoo of a tooth on my chest.
Greg.
I thought we were supposed to add the news people. He's good though, he's
We
good.
have time for them, we have time.
Okay.
What is the worst smell you've ever experienced? Where was it, and what did you do about it?
I hate your questions, Susan.
Wasn't a naked one.
They are thought-provoking, though, I will give you that. I don't think I want to actually describe that event, but so I'm going to have to make something up. I don't like the smell of clover for some reason. You know, there are just some things in life that just upset you, and something that most normal people would think is fine. So I was stuck one time in a field of clover, and I was naked like Ben.
In the past.
And so being stuck in a field of clover that you can't stand the smell of and being naked is a challenge. Because when all of a sudden somebody came and they saw me naked, what you do naturally when you are naked is you try to cover up. But I had to cover myself up, and all I had was clover to cover myself up with. So, luckily I'm not that well endowed, so a piece of clover was more than enough. And so I said hi to the person, and I ran as quickly as I could out of that field of clover because the smell was killing me, and ran home and put some clothes on.
And that's when you run into Ben and he's ready to pull your teeth. Now what I'd like to do is take a few minutes. You would like to read to us for 30 seconds?
However long you got, whatever.
40 seconds.
Okay, so what we're going to do is time you.
Okay.
Do you want to come up here, or are you more comfortable back there?
I'll just sit.
Okay. Keep in mind that these are radio people, so they're not used to people watching them. So what we're going to listen for is the tone. You know, every group has one. The tone and everything else, and Peggy's going to listen for your grammar. So go ahead.
All right, so this is a story from one of our reporters, Natalie Abruzzo, and I'm going to read it like I would a newscast. For WSKG News, I'm Amelia Wilbert. The Elmira City Council voted to table a proposal outlining unauthorized camping that was meant to curb homelessness. The proposed law would prohibit unauthorized campsites, which in many instances are created by people who are homeless. Depending on the number of violations, the law would have placed fines on those unauthorized campsites of up to $1,000 and 1 year in jail. Council members say they're holding the legislation so they can draft a more comprehensive law and include discussions with community stakeholders. During a public comment session earlier this week, some Elmira residents criticized the proposal, saying it would criminalize homelessness. This is WSKG News.
Louis, when we do evaluations, we'll do that on yours as well. Brent, did you have one?
Yes, I did.
What's the show that you host? So that
It's morning edition, so when you're hearing it, 6 a.m. until 9 a.m.
This man gets here at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. I hear you every morning on my.
How long is it going to be? About 30 seconds?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I can time myself here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Good luck.
This is WSKG News. I'm Brent Fox. 100 nursing home workers in Steuben County ratified a 3-year union contract in July with their employer Absolute Care of Three Rivers in Painted Post. The workers are represented by the largest healthcare union in America with more than 400,000 nurses and caregivers. The labor agreement increases starting rates for newly hired service workers and certified nursing assistants. Workers want pension increases, daily overtime, enhanced differentials for evenings and overnight shifts, and Juneteenth as a paid holiday. The 3-year labor contract will run through April 2027. This is WSKG News.
We're going to do one more for our other guests from WSKG.
I didn't bring anything.
That's okay. I'm
But
going to
I
do
have
something.
lots of stuff in my brain.
What I'd like you to do is take a coin.
Your mini-me.
Look at the date on the coin. Tell us something that happened in the year stamped on that coin, or something that you were doing that year.
It says 1984. In 1984, I was singing in the choir at my church. And we had gotten a new rector, and the organist choir master, while we didn't have a rector, started inflating the service with more and more music until the service was running about an hour and 40 minutes. The new rector had a problem with that. So did the choir, because we would start rehearsals at 6:30 and go till 10, unless you were the soloist, in which case you had to stay till 11. The new rector had a little talk with her. Everything seemed fine, but then I came in the next day and the choir room was cleaned out. She had a hissy fit and left. At that point, I was working on my master's in musicology at BU, and I was also taking conducting courses. So they got an organist who didn't want to conduct, and they said, "Bill, you conduct, would you take over as choir director?" And that's what happened.
Thank you.
Oh, just keep it. Just keep it.
All right, thank you all very much, and thank you for your readings, and I think the next part of our,
There's about
We
probably
got more?
4 more minutes or so.
It's only.
Oh, no,
12:40.
no, I'm
No,
sorry.
I don't
It's
think
up.
so.
We're over. Yeah,
Ben Judah part-time.
yeah.
Ben also does a radio show up at BU,
Yes, I
so. Okay,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you.
I had some great questions.
Those were tough. Yeah. Tough and fun. You had a tough act to follow. I appreciate
I'm never gonna look at you the same again.
Yeah. It was, yeah, enough said.
It's all improv.
But, yeah, that was, table topics, always a treat. So the next part of the meeting is where we evaluate all of the people who had an opportunity to speak. And we get to bring Ben back up here. Ben, you ready to talk again?
Unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, we're going to ask people from their seat, I presume.
That's fine. I think the owl is tracking people pretty well.
I've seen me. I'm over here. I'm in the middle. How'd that happen? Anyway, for Evaluator 1, evaluating Catherine's speech, is Larissa Yost, who will be evaluating.
Catherine, first off, I really enjoyed your speech. I thought that in terms of the setting of being a graduation keynote, I think it worked really, really well. And something that I appreciated, you might be able to tell, it's also been mentioned that I'm a personal trainer at KW Fitness. However, both my parents are engineers, and my sister also is engineering adjacent. She does material science through chemistry. So I have been subjected to a lot of chemistry, or a lot of engineering talk and science talk at the dinner table, and I frequently go right over my head. So I really appreciated thinking about your audience. Obviously, the students would have some engineering background, but not necessarily their families or parents that were with them. So I thought that it really played to both. You caught my attention really well with the, might have been your first or second line, but with the dog analogy. And I was like, where are we going with this? But then I really liked how you tied it in and then called it back at the very end. So I think that what you really excelled in was kind of making sure that everybody felt included and weren't bored during your speech. One thing that I would suggest potentially working on was in this setting, when you're just standing at a lectern, I think your tone and speed were really great, but if you were to be mic'd in, say, like a lecture hall or in a gymnasium, you potentially would want to slow it down just a bit to make sure that nothing got lost, because I found in the middle of it, it sped up just a little bit. You might have been trying to make sure you stayed on time. And then the last thing that I would suggest if you wanted to try to challenge yourself was to memorize more of your speech. You did a really great job with eye contact and just staying engaged, but if you were to memorize it, it would just open up your doors to, you know, even more of that. But overall, great job.
Thank you. I passed around some slips of paper, so if you want to write down who you think get the best table topics and then send it down to me, we vote. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Was there a plan to evaluate each of the speakers, or will just the table topic speakers? Probably not.
All the table topics are.
No, we can evaluate them.
Now's the time for it.
It's on the agenda for that. How do we evaluate them?
Like Peggy, were you listening for grammar?
Well, we'll get down to that.
And that type of thing?
We got
Yes.
grammar and then nods and outs,
Okay.
so we'll just do it that way. So I will now introduce Peggy Welch, who will do an evaluation based on grammar and word of the day.
Okay, well, there is no contest of who used in past the most. Ben, you had 5.5. I want to count in passe. And Catherine.
In passe.
And Catherine used it once. So thank you for that. Susan, you asked me if I listened to everybody else, but I did write them down. I didn't catch any grammarian anything incorrect with grammar for Jeremy, Ben, or Greg. And then when I listened to Amelia and Brent, you both had great voice inflection. I know that's not grammar, but and the pace, I felt both of them were very good. I didn't catch your name.
Bill.
Bill, okay, Bill. The only thing I caught with you was you said, well, we didn't have a rector, and that was at the end of the sentence versus maybe that should have been in the beginning of the sentence. So that was good. The other thing I caught was during your speech, in the very beginning, you repeated today twice. You said welcome today, and then at the end of the sentence, you said today. Your question and answer section, I thought was very effective. I thought that was really a good use. You asked a question and you answered it. Maybe you want to pause a little bit and just give the audience a chance to think about it, but they wouldn't know the answer that you were looking for. So I thought that was very effective by you providing the answer. And the only other thing is that though it isn't always easy, I thought you were correct the first time. You didn't need to correct yourself.
I actually meant that. It wasn't easy in college because I was talking about college.
Right.
And it isn't easy now in life.
Oh, okay.
I
You may
meant
want-
that.
Okay, it sounded like a correction.
Oh, okay.
So maybe you want to just change, add something to that.
Okay.
Yeah. But, yeah, and then, no, other than that, everybody did a great job, their whole life.
I don't know how she does it. She is so intellectual to be able to focus and know the dictionary and just how to speak. You're very good at that. So thank you for, wow, an exceptional presentation. And now we have Joe, who's going to do some accounting. Thank you, Joe.
I haven't spoken to this, but I don't think so. Nobody's really counted mine. But sometimes it's hard for me to do this because I hate to, at work sometimes I'll evaluate salespeople and my boss asks me, I hate to throw stones because the mistakes they make are mistakes I've made. Don't be offended. Becky, I caught you with an odd, an and. Jeremy, you had six or seven so's and one ah. Susan, you had 2 so's and 3 ahs. Ben, you had 3 ahs, maybe an in there. 2 ands and 1 so. Greg, you had 1 ah, 1 and 1 so. Larissa, I think you had 1 ah, 1 And Dee, you had 1 ah. Thank you. Don't forget the timer.
This, I did
I
indeed.
evaluated, I didn't speak.
Brett, did you have a particular breakdown of your timing results? I overlooked you on the
Yeah,
agenda.
Bill was here.
Oh, good.
So for Catherine, you actually spoke for 6 minutes and 31 seconds, so you were a little short from the 7 to 8 minute.
Okay.
Jeremy, 1 minute 52 seconds on your tabletop. You followed that pretty well. Ben, 2:06. You spoke just a little longer after I held up the red card.
Whatever.
Greg, 1:33. You were well under the 2-minute mark. Emmy's bit, along with her intro and outro, was 49 seconds. Mine was 40 seconds on the dot. Well, slightly long, a little more than 40, but still 40 seconds. And then Bill was at 1:15.
Yeah, just rated, yep.
Okay. General evaluation.
I have the table topics, results.
Oh, was that on there too?
Yes.
Oh, right there where it says voting results, table topic, call up Susan. Yeah, which is I was going to do. Susan, would you please stand up? Would you give us the table topic results?
Your breakfast of bacon won, hands down. Second was Mr. Snyder from WSKG. So I think the next time, we're going to ask you two to also participate in table topics and do that impromptu. And we'll also make sure that you two in the back will do it.
If you want.
Yes, if you want.
Okay, before I do general evaluation, Matt, you're from the Morning Nights, and you're from the Morning Nights. Would you care to explain to us when the Morning Nights meet? Because maybe some people would come. I came there to visit at least twice. Talk to us about where you meet, what time it is.
Since Matt handed off Sergeant of Arms to me for this year. Morning Nights meets the first and third Friday mornings, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. at Most Holy Rosary Church. We also offer Zoom as an option as well. You can check us out find us through the Toastmaster International website and then go to Morning Nights website, which is how I found you all and wanted to bring Katie along because Katie doesn't do 7 a.m.
I know that during COVID, when we were doing Zoom, it was not anywhere near as impactful as being in the room here. So we're so glad you could join us. Hopefully you'll come back.
Thank you.
Right. And the neat thing about when you're out and about, I happen to have seen Matt at Planet Fitness and a friend of his, Oric, who didn't make it today, but they were at the Kirkwood Community Days. So I was talking to him, he recognized me from visiting his Toastmasters. So he said, well, I'm going to come and visit you. So thank you for coming. You want to talk about anything particular? Fitness, Planet Fitness? You have any specials?
We always have those, but nothing special right now.
Okay, well, thank you for coming.
Thanks for asking.
Sure. Oh, and general evaluation. Oh, yeah, 9 minutes to evaluate. Well, anyway, the room was set up nice. I appreciate the sign for in passe. That was really, really special because they do that at the morning nights. They taped up the words so no one can forget it. Trouble is, when you're at the podium, you can't see it. Did I say the wrong word? Did I say the P word again? I meant the lectern. Generally, it was very nice. You know, I was thinking we should totally change up our meetings because this was a lot of fun. If we only had one speaker a month, one speaker a meeting, we could probably do 2 meetings a month because it's a little easier if you only have one speaker. And there's enough people that might be able to done that way.
Good suggestion.
Something to think about. We could table that until another time, whatever. Okay, but having a lot of table topics gives a lot more people a chance to say something. So I thought that was pretty cool in my humble evaluation, which is probably different than other people's opinion. I'm used to
I can
that.
interject, I think, if we started going to 2, that would prohibit us from being here twice a month. We'd have to go back to like we were at Roberson.
I think one is working right now.
Yeah.
If we start getting too many people lined up for speeches, that's when you have an issue. Like morning nights especially, they're very active and a lot of people are engaged. So I think this is working well. Let's not try to fix what's happening.
No, I don't. We really should not change anything because we've been doing things very well the way it is. Whatever the boss wants to do, I'm there cheerleading. You go, let's go. Okay, other than that, I really appreciate visitors coming and participating. Sorry you didn't get a chance to participate, but at some point in time, and I agree with you, 7 in the morning is a little awkward. Noon, very comfortable. Where do you work?
At the university.
Oh, you said that to us before, and I didn't write it down, I'm sorry. But thank you for coming. I appreciate the speakers, the evaluations, the table topics. That was so special to watch naked Greg roll around in clover.
That's a visual you just can't get rid of.
Right, it's something I'm going to be dreaming about. So other than that, no. Table topics were great. The evaluation reports and the timing, right on. You got your minutes down, and I just think it's a great. And yeah, this guy is doing a great job as president, and we're going to keep him. How many times did you do it, Joe?
I did it 3 years.
Oh. Yeah, you might get more than that. We're going to set a record. But thank you everybody for coming. Yeah.
Ben, thank you for recapping the meeting and everyone for the roles that you filled. We are right back on time, I think. So great discussion, Ben, and the rest of the members about meeting times, things like that. We're obviously looking to grow, and as things change or the circumstances change, we can have those conversations. I wanted to reserve a little bit of time for Dee. Dee, do you have any feedback or comments you'd like to share with the group?
Sure thing. First of all, I would like to say thank you all for allowing me to join your meeting today. It was a pleasure to witness such an open and engaging environment. I appreciate the efforts that you're making to keep the club running smoothly and on schedule, especially with the agendas sent out before the meeting. I appreciated that. The participation from WKSG guests was impressive, and it was great to see them actively involved. The prepared speech by the guests was intriguing. It had me sitting on the edge of my seat. I had to turn my camera off so y'all wouldn't see my face because I don't have a poker face, and I was just really engaged with that speech. And I commend the club's inclusivity in allowing additional members of the community to participate. I did want to ask on that note, because I think total there was about 13 people there in the room. Out of the 13, how many are guests and how many are members?
6 guests.
You said 7 guests?
9 members,
Yeah.
Okay.
and whatever the rest are, 1, 2, 3.
6 guests.
6 guests.
6 guests. Okay, that is awesome. What an awesome ratio. There were a few moments during table topics that included maybe some comments that, especially with having guests, that might not necessarily, people might not be comfortable with, like the naked, and there was kind of a allusion to private parts. But overall, I'm confident that, just kind of being mindful of that, because you may have other guests that might come and they might be like, wow, this is not what I thought Toastmasters was about. But I also noted the thoughtful evaluations that were provided. They were specific and relevant enough, and definitely show the strength of your club. Ensuring that the estimates of the times are clearly noted on the agenda. I know that was one of the things at the beginning. There was a little bit of confusion as far as for the speech, how much time would be needed, and the timers allocations of putting up the red, green, yellow. But y'all went through that smooth and got it, right back on track. But maybe one of the things that you could do is noting where the speaker, it says speaker 1, maybe note in parentheses the approximate time frame that the speaker is going to be speaking, which was the 7 to 8 minutes that y'all mentioned. I would say lastly, the other thing I always look at before I do area visits is I look at the club's website. Your club website has a lot of great information, and I did see that there are some of the members that are officers, currently or officers in the past. It has some of those pictures and information up. I know when I joined Oneonta Toastmasters last November, one of the things I did when I looked around on the Find a Club on Toastmasters is I looked at, okay, what are some of the people that are there? What is their background? To kind of find your village. So having that information up there, although it is voluntary, I would strongly encourage some of the other members, if you would like to and you'd be okay with it, to update your member profile and make it public, because the people are coming to not only see Toastmasters, the club in action, but remember the club consists of the members. So overall, like I said, was very impressed with the meeting structure and the warm, welcoming atmosphere that your club fosters. I'm looking forward to getting to come visit you all in person, and keep up the great work, River City Toastmasters.
Thank you, Dee. Great feedback. Appreciated the thoughtful comments. And again, thank you everyone for being here. This concludes our.
Can I just add one more thing?
Yeah.
You talked a little bit at the beginning that we have a spreadsheet that Larissa did that. I did nothing on that, except I'll use it. What the intention is, and we'll probably start with next month, is that we'll have a spreadsheet where people can sign up ahead of time for roles for the next meeting. It'll be like a rolling 3-month calendar. You can also put in there if you're going to be out. So if you're going to be out for vacation, you'll ahead of time be able to put that in there, so we'll know not to, if I have to go and beat people or beg is more like it, like Peggy used to have to do with us, we'll know that not to ask if you're going to be out. So that we'll test it on Jeremy to see if the link would work for everybody, or if each person has to specifically give their information. But thank you, Larissa, for doing that. Great.
This meeting has been recorded, and it's going to be on YouTube. You won't see faces, but you'll be hearing whatever you said. Unless you're in the witness protection program, I can cut you out.
And anyone else have anything to add before we wrap up?
Do any of the guests have any comments that they want to share?
Thank you for inviting us. This was a very interesting experience, and I hope to learn a lot from this.
Great.
Y'all were great.
Yeah.
I closed my eyes and pretended like I was listening to you on the radio. Man, this is really cool. I haven't listened to the radio more.
And just hopefully the next one, we'll have a 4th member of the WSKG team here, Seth. He just was having to be on vacation these 2 days.
Yeah. Right.
I had a fun experience at work today, or this week, because I was attending a webinar and it was engaging, and I mentioned something about Toastmasters, and then somebody pinged me afterward, like, can you tell me more about this? Can we meet? Can you tell me about this? So I just had a meeting with somebody at work, I don't know where he was from, but telling him, I was like, well, they didn't think that the website was intuitive. And I thought, okay, I thought it was pretty easy, but I explained to him how to look for clubs, more so the agenda and what was involved and the pricing and all that kind of thing. So I had a half-hour call with the guy just talking about Toastmasters.
Nice. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Have a good day, everyone.
Oh, okay, thank you.
We need this.